You know, it's not often that movies play into city stereotypes like this because every problem in this movie can be summed up with one phrase. It's Detroit. Hello and welcome back to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly, and I just got out of Don't Breathe a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, my channel update kind of lied a bit. Things have been a little more hectic than I thought they'd be, so I've gotten kind of behind. I'm trying to get back forward, so you're going to see a lot of videos coming out here really soon, if everything goes according to plan. Starting on the plan is a new horror film called Don't Breathe, a movie that is actually kind of gripping and scary, and really only has one fault about it, and I'll get to that in a second, but I can honest to God recommend it. If you're wondering about it, go see it. It's probably in a discounted theater or matinee right now. Go, you'll be fine. But going into greater detail, let's start with Going into the good here, this movie has a very, very simple premise that makes it just dripping with atmosphere and makes it really good. We follow three people. They break into houses because, as the movie likes to say, it's Detroit. Granted, they make sure that the houses are empty and that they're not going to get caught and that nobody gets hurt, so they're kind of thieves with a heart of gold, I guess you could say in one sense, but yeah, that's really pushing it. But they get a tip that an old man living in a deserted neighborhood, he's literally the only one for like 3 or 4 blocks in every direction. He is sitting on thousands upon thousands of dollars, and it's easy pickings. He's a blind guy. This should be easy, right? They quickly find out, however, just how wrong they are when it takes some real clever thinking to actually get into the house in the first place, and once they're in, he realizes they're there. He basically boards up their only way out, so now they've got to get out without him noticing them and killing them. It's a new take on the home invasion movie. We usually see the home invasion, or just any kind of invasion movie, Assault on Precinct 13 comes to mind inside this, where we see the people inside the precinct bunkering down and turning their place into a fortress while everyone on the outside is trying to get in. You know, that's usually how a home invasion works out. Here, it's like they turned it on their head. We're following the invaders who are now stuck inside of this house. It's a good twist on the genre and brings some flavor. And I can honestly say that the suspense created by this entire situation is just dripping. There are moments when I was literally holding my breath, just, are they gonna get out? Oh my god, they're so close. Granted, there are a few Hollywoodisms, but I'm not going to really call it as negative. It's just that when you step on a creaky floorboard, it doesn't just make one squeak, it makes two. When you step on it, and then when you let your foot off, 2 squeaks. But it's legitimately tense, even with those Hollywoodisms included in. I can honestly say that this is probably one of the scariest non-horror films I've seen in a while. I say non-horror because this is more of a thriller than it is actual horror. And that's not a negative against the movie. It's perfectly fine to be a thriller. I'm just saying, if you're looking for something that's gonna scare you horribly psychologically or just freak you the fuck out, this isn't the movie you're looking for. If you're looking for something intense, that's gripping, that's gonna keep you on the edge of your seat, wondering about all these little details, how they're going to get out, how they're going to move from situation to situation, this is more of your cup of tea. Another great thing is the acting across the board. Granted, the first guy that dies in the movie, I wasn't really feeling his character, but he did show some pretty good colors by the end of his inevitable existence. Jane Levy and Dylan Minnelli did a great job at trying to find their way out of this house after their friend eventually passes, and honestly, they are great. But the best person, bar none, in this movie is Stephen fucking Lang. Oh my god, I want to see this guy as Cable because he is fucking shredded. And this movie really had him just being that silent monstrosity. He makes an occasional grunt, or he says a line or a word here or there, but for the most part of the movie, he doesn't say a goddamn word. He's just a silent badass who is literally shooting you through sounds he's hearing. That's how fucking good he is. And props to the makeup that actually did put like the scarring around his eyes and the contacts that he was forced to wear throughout the whole thing, because it really did give the impression that this guy is just fucking... Ugh, he's just so intimidating. It's just the way he looks, the way he acts, the grunts as he's chasing these people down or listening in, the small little sounds. It's just everything about this guy. I want to see more of him and not have it be inside of Avatar 2, because it's going to suck like shit like the first one did. And honestly, the movie itself feels pretty damn perfect. It's extraordinarily short, and it could have been a lot shorter. Yeah, there really is only one bad thing about this movie. So, going into the last third, the third act of this movie is just not needed. For those who don't want spoilers, I am going to have to spoil this to truly explain why I think that it fails so much. Just for those who don't want spoilers, it's like we just stepped out of one movie into another one, where we have a different type of monster, a different type of villain, just comes out of nowhere, and we're supposed to believe that that's who he was the whole time. Because no. You can watch the movie with this last third, and it'll work out just fine. I mean, it does lead to one pretty intense scene, and one triumphant victory at the end, but it just doesn't fit in this movie. It doesn't mesh. Nothing was ever revealed that could even lead into this direction. I mean, it's just so far out of left field. Yeah, there's actually right before this, the movie fades to black, and that would have been a perfect ending for this movie, and then it just fades back in and keeps going, because apparently after you're being choked, you're just gonna wake up at timely manners, I guess. I don't know. So for those who don't want spoilers, I'll put a time code here. Just skip to that, and yeah, let's go into this last third real fast. So it's revealed that Stephen Lang lost his daughter in a car accident involving a rich kid. That's why he has so much money on his hands, and why he lived perfectly fine in this neighborhood that's completely deserted. But while trying to escape this house, they actually come across a girl tied up inside of his basement, which turns out to be the person that killed his daughter. Okay, he's a monster too. Revenge, he kidnapped her, blah blah blah. No, that's not actually the real reason, because, as I said, before this reveal, Stephen Lang gets his hands on Jane Levy and chokes her out. And the movie fades to black, and then it fades back in. She's suddenly locked up because the girl that was down there before, they tried to help her, and she ended up getting shot in the head. Whoops. So now Stephen Lang wants a replacement to make him a new daughter. He is a rapist. Oh, and before someone tries to say, no, he's not a rapist, he's raping her with a foreign object. He literally takes his semen inside of one of those basil things that you literally stuff into a turkey. Yeah, he sucks it up and he's gonna shove it up her vagina, and sounds like something out of a bad porno, or a snuff film, or a horror, sexual horror. It didn't fit with a movie that was basically a suspense thriller. It was not a full-fledged graphic horror, and suddenly it's just going into this weird, fucked up rape shit. And the reason for this is what I like to call the asshole treatment. What is the asshole treatment? Well, you have a main character who is not a good person. Jane Levy is the main character. She's trying to steal this guy's money so that she can get her sister and her out of Detroit into California, where they're going to live happily ever after. Oh, so she's doing this to her sister. Heart of gold. no, she's still robbing a blind person, so you can't really get behind her, right? So then how are you going to get the audience to feel or care about this person who's clearly in the wrong? You make everybody the scum of the fucking earth. Oh, your main character robs people? Well, this guy kidnaps and rapes them. Yeah. And he's completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, too. And so the main character's looking like a good person now, aren't they? You're going to follow them, right? It's a lazy writing crutch. You know, you could take the Quentin Tarantino route and write bad people and just make them interesting, have good personalities, or have something about them that we're going to want to see, or just trust your audience to get behind them, like Deadpool or something, who's clearly not a good person. No, this movie goes for the lazy route and just makes everyone a hell of a lot worse than she is, so that you're going to feel oh so happy when she gets away scot-free, and somehow this blind guy who got shot and thrown down a flight of stairs and down a hole that was another story made it out perfectly fine. So do you get why I think this last third really shouldn't have been in the movie to begin with? How it just detracts from the rest that came before it? I mean, if it was inside of a different movie where this was kind of thing was the focus, where we had a lot more out there shit, I could get behind that. But inside of this one, it just feels like jumping a shark. It really does. But overall, this movie was still tense, gripping, and I can say the first 2/3 is more than enough to see this movie for. The last third, it does have some scary, tense moments, but not as much as the first 2/3. And yeah, it's not as good a movie. It's not going to make my best movie year list, and I'm going to get an honorable mention, honestly. But as a scary film, this is definitely better than the schlock that we've been getting, especially recently, with The Disappointments Room and Morgan and a bunch of other movies I need to review still. I'll hope to get those ones out soon. But that's it for me. Did you see Don't Breathe? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. And as always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button, the share button, and subscribe for more. Be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to stop pushing the Twitch channel as much until I actually get something. You can follow me on there, but you probably won't see me for a little while. Just saying. And yeah, that's it for me, so I'll see you all next time.